All right, guys, welcome to the part two of the review edition of the Left Side View with Rahul and Amitabh. So we've already talked about the matches that took place in the Bundesliga, in the Premier League, and League One. So here we're going to talk exclusively about Serie A as well as La Liga, Amitabh. So which one do you want us to start with?
Yes, Raul, let's start with Serie A. So on Friday, we had the Turin derby, Juventus against Torino. And yeah, Juventus at home should have won this match comfortably, but that was not the case, unfortunately. The match ended in a 1-1 draw. Um, Belletti,
Belotti.
I think, yeah, Bellotti scored for Torino and Matthias De Ligt, who did score in the reverse fixture as well. He started off the scoring for Juventus. Um, I'm sure that we're going to discuss every match, and I think Serie A this week was actually pretty crazy. I mean, all the results, it just went haywire. And I think Napoli, who have their match tonight, they have a wonderful opportunity to capitalize on all the misfortunes of the so-called favorites in the league here. Starting off with Juventus, Rahul.
Yeah, I mean, again, it was 1-1 draw. I think De Ligt opened the scoring. And then the Torino, the Italian striker, Andrea Bellotti equalized. Again, we did talk a little bit about this, that under Juric they've been so good, and even we talked about what we saw in the All or Nothing documentary, that for Torino, I think getting a point or even a victory in this match is like winning a trophy. So yeah, they gave their all. Another thing that I want to talk about at least is what we talked about last week, which is the same thing. Allegri started with all three strikers together, which didn't really leave anybody, with an option to come off the bench. And I still feel the same way, that had he maybe kept someone like Morata on the bench and then would have brought that person on, Juventus would have a better chance. But now all their strikers are starting, and then if they're scoring great, but if they're not, then there's no plan B. Even someone like Quadrado didn't really start, who has been so good. Even in defense, I think they're struggling with players, with the fitness of the players. So I don't really know if they continue to do this, then yeah, we're probably going to see them drop more points. But if they do change a little bit of their strategy, then maybe we could actually see them utilize someone like Dusan Vlahovic to his maximum potential.
Do you think with the aspect of playing three strikers up front, they are also missing out on a midfielder who can help them create more?
Exactly. I think they've got someone like Arthur that they don't really utilize. They keep playing someone like Adrian Rabiot. I mean, first of all, he's a midfielder. They keep playing him on the left. I don't know. Like, I don't really understand a lot of the tactics that Allegri uses, to be honest.
Yeah. Moving on Saturday we had Sampdoria against Empoli. Sampdoria winning this match 2-0 at home. Anything you'd like to say here, Rahul?
Yeah, I think they just got the job done. I think it makes sense. But yeah, nothing really that helps any team. I think Sampdoria, at least, they've actually they've got an upturn in their fortunes now ever since they rehired their manager Marco Giampaolo. So yeah, maybe they're just under that new manager bounce. So yeah, a good result for Sampdoria.
Yeah. So the next match, Roma against Hellas Verona. Now Verona actually took the lead. Two goals actually, Barak and Tamezi scoring. So they were 2-0 up. And Mourinho made the substitutions. Two youngsters came on, Volpato and Bove. They scored for Roma. And again, Mourinho got a red card in this match for his antics on the sidelines. Um, again, Mourinho's Roma blowing hot and cold. They are struggling. Actually, they are struggling. And I think the strength of the squad is just not there. Even with all the tactical shrewdness that Mourinho possesses and tries to implement, I just don't think they have the personnel to, carry out whatever he intends to do. And on top of it, all this nonsense that has become part of his personality, it doesn't really help. Even if you think whatever is going out on the middle is unfair, you don't react like that, because it's not going to help the team in the long run. Maybe he'll be off for the next match, not on the sidelines. How does it help Roma? Just tell me. So yeah, anger got the better of him. He did what he had to, and then he was shown a straight red. Again, the result, away team will be happy with a point, but definitely not Roma. Yeah, on the only saving grace is the youngsters that came on. They did deliver 2 goals, and okay, so well done to those youngsters. Maybe they'll get a lot of confidence here. Rahul?
Yeah, I can have a different take on this. I actually feel like the fact that Roma didn't really make a lot of the signings in January. Uh, I actually feel like in the long term, Roma will be really good because of the adversity that they're facing this season. This will actually build, the whole team's morale, and especially the morale that Mourinho likes to create. The siege mentality, like it's us against the world. So maybe the fact that, in a way, because he didn't really have any option, like we know that he doesn't really like to bring on youngsters, but because this time out he actually doesn't really have a choice. He was forced, you can say, in a way, to use these youngsters, and that's a good thing in a way that Eduardo Bove, the midfielder, he came on and he actually scored his first goal for the club. Cristiano Volpato, wow man, he scored his first goal for the club. So now, in a way, he, because of these performances, he actually has to use these youngsters. Otherwise, if he had someone else, he probably would have not used these players. So in a way, it's a good thing. And again, I think these two players would have given the whole squad a little bit of boost, in my opinion. I mean, like obviously we both know that they're not going to finish. At least in my opinion, they're not going to finish in the top four. But yeah, this will help them overall. The only question is, which I want, is for Roma to keep patience with Mourinho at least this season. If he stays till the end of the season and then gets a little more investment from the owners, then maybe we can see a little bit of more from Roma next season. But that's the whole thing. Like at least I just hope that he stays, and irrespective of the results.
I don't think Roma would be in a position to fire Jose. The only see all the Premier League clubs, there are managers right now, and the only option I see is if Newcastle want to part ways with Howe and appoint Jose. But even that, the probability of that happening is like minuscule. So I think Jose will be there next season, and the most important thing is whether he gets the backing that he wants or he thinks he deserves. So that is something that will play out in the summers. Going with our theme of unexpected results, so the bottom club met the top club, and it was a draw. Milan actually took the lead through Junior Messias, but then Salernitana came up with 2 goals, and it looked like an upset was on its way. But Anton Rebic, he has had this injury troubled season. Again, longest range effort and a great goal. But Milan dropping points where they must have thought they have to, get all 3. Um, again, Napoli can be the biggest beneficiaries here. Let's see how their match goes tonight. But definitely 2 points dropped by Milan. Yeah, Rahul.
I mean, yeah, obviously, a team that's top of the league and is facing off against the team that's bottom of the league. If Even if it's a draw, it's an upset in a way. I mean, yeah, like in a way, it's just what makes Serie A so interesting and exciting this season, I guess. The fact that we'll talk about the Inter game as well, but then yeah, Milan had such a great opportunity to stay where they were. They couldn't really capitalize. I mean, they beat Inter Milan away last week, but couldn't really beat Salernitana away now. And again, gives the onus to someone like Napoli, who play Cagliari tonight. I know that they have been missing a few key players, I guess, but then a lot of those players are actually back who have been missing for a long period of time. I think Mike Mignon had probably his worst game in a Milan jersey. Yeah, probably had a game to forget. But then the goal scored by Bonazzali and Milan Juric, I think some great goals. Ante Rebic again, I think this is just his second goal of Serie A, or maybe his first in September. So Milan fans will be like so happy to see him back. He has been, I guess, so good on that left wing, maybe. But then I just hope that this doesn't really hamper Rafael Leao's position, because he has also been in a very good form of late. So let's see. But yeah, like, not sure what else to say about it. It's just points dropped, and uh, I think one stat that I can probably talk about is this is like the first Serie A match since uh, 5 or 6 years ago, May 2016, when Verona beat Juventus, where the bottom side avoided defeat against the league leaders. So since then, 9 games in a row, it's always been like the top team versus the bottom team. I think we've had the favorites win their match. So yeah, not a happy reading for Milan fans.
Yes, yes. I mean, the only saving grace is that Inter lost their match against Sassuolo as well on Sunday. So we start there. Uh, Something's happened there. Maybe this loss of form was due and it has come at the wrong time. I mean, there's never a right time for a loss of form, but yeah, perhaps in the most crucial phase of the season, Inter Milan seems to be off the boil. And we did discuss this in our preview episode, a potential banana stain, and that is what it was. Raspadori and Scamacca scoring 2 goals. Sassuolo, they could have scored more, actually, and even Milan could have scored. Inter could have scored, but at home, um, again. Just at the wrong time, man. Something's just not clicking for them, and yeah, it's for the coach and the players to get out of this rut that they are in. Rahul?
I mean, yeah, like we talked about Sassuolo and we called them the giant killers of Serie A, which is true, I guess. They've managed to beat AC Milan away this season. They managed to beat Juventus away this season. Now they've actually managed to beat AC Milan away this season. For Inter Milan, yeah. So I think, and we talked about the Raspadori and Scamacca partnership. So yeah, Scamacca again scored a wonderful goal. I think he's just so agile for someone who's as tall as he is. Scored a great goal. And again, Inter Milan missing someone like Brozovic. So people were like, oh my God, they're missing Brozovic, so they're so bad. And in the match against Liverpool, they're missing Barella, so they're so bad. But then that cannot be the case, that you just miss one player and then all of a sudden you become a different team. I think Inter Milan have lost 3 matches in a row now at home in all competitions. Like, when you take into consideration the loss against Milan at home, then Liverpool in the Champions League, and now this loss against Sassuolo at home. So yeah, they need to pull up their socks. They need to get back on track. Otherwise, come the end of the match week, if Napoli get all 3 points against Cagliari, then they could actually be third in the table. From first, they could be straight away third. I think, yeah, it's actually games like these, where we've always talked about Sassuolo, and they have a strategy. I think it's not these games where they drop points. It's actually the draws or the losses against the bottom half teams that have hurt Sassuolo the most. But yeah, we kind of expected. So yeah, for some reason, Inter didn't, or I don't know if even if they did, they just couldn't really do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think both the Milan teams did try to do a favor for each other. That did not happen. Moving on, Fiorentina against Atalanta. Uh, Piontek with the solitary goal of the match. Fiorentina coming out as winners here. Even Atlanta's coach, Gasperini, was shown a red card in this match. Now Atlanta have been, in great form away from home. That did not happen here. And yes, they do seem a little jaded and missing key players and all that stuff. Again, at the wrong time of the season. So yeah, losing 1-0 away from home. Rahul?
Atlanta are actually on a 5 or 6 game, I think, winless run right now. Like, that's how poor they have become. And again, it's like what happened with Chelsea, that all of a sudden you're missing key players, but then you're missing key players in one position, which is what has happened with Atlanta. I think now Zapata has been missing. Even Muriel wasn't really involved in this match, maybe because of injury or loss of form for some reason. Jeremy Boga, the winger, actually started as a striker. And on top of that, I think, again, another player that we need to talk about is Josip Ilicic. He's been missing, I think, for a couple of months now. And he's not injured. He's only been missing because of mental health issues. So first of all, we wish that he, gets better and yeah, he starts contributing. to the Atlanta cause of finishing the top four. But yeah, I think in this match, the Dutch midfielder Koop Miners was actually playing as a false nine. So yeah, all of a sudden, playing without a striker at this crucial juncture of the season is just so detrimental to Atlanta's cause of finishing the top four. And we've talked about it before, but it does look like they are the least favorites now to finish in the top four. Now I think it's yeah. So and let's talk about Fiorentina. I think let's give them a little bit of love. Piontek, I think again cannot stop scoring ever since he's joined. This is his third goal against Atlanta. He scored a brace in their I think the Coppa del Rey, Coppa Italia quarterfinal as well, away from home, and now he scored the winner. So yeah, I think a 1-0 victory. Again, like you talk about Gasperini, I think it was a clear offside, as VAR showed. But then again, at times you just don't want to accept it. Maybe you're angry at something else, but then you take it out like this. So yeah, a 1-0 loss away to Fiorentina is not the worst result, but yeah, considering the other results, it does look like they're on the downward spiral.
Yeah, so Fiorentina doing a double over Atlanta in a couple of weeks, and yes, sometimes emotions do come out at the wrong instance. Again, I mean, really, what to say? There's always pressure in international sports, and this is like at the highest level. So yeah, let's hope for the best for everyone out there concerned. Okay, in another result, Udinese against Lazio, this match ended again in a 1-1 draw. Delefeu opening the scoring for Udinese and Felipe Anderson replying for Lazio. I think in our preview, at least I thought Lazio would win. And again, I mean, everybody fumbled. So if you see that, from one angle, everybody has cancelled each other out through bad performance by not winning the match. And yeah, but again, this result does not help Lazio whatsoever. With everybody fumbling in front of them, they were the last to play. So they had a golden opportunity to close the gap and, make, their approval, stamp of approval on trying to get the fourth spot. Again, did not happen. Let's see what goes on now, Rahul.
Yeah, like we talked about, the corresponding fixture also ended in a 4-all draw. Now this was a 1-all draw. And even Sari, I think, came out after the match and he was like, it's really difficult to play 3 days after you play in the Europa League. But then if you were in the Champions League and you played a match on Wednesday and then you played on Saturday, it's the same difference, 3 days. So not really sure what he wants. Maybe if he wants to play maybe on a Monday, if they're playing in the Europa League. But yeah, they went to Porto, lost to Porto away 2-1, and now this match away to Udinese. It's just been the case, like for him, it's like he only wants to play in one competition, which is the league, and he wants 7 days to prepare for that match. And then even then, he's not going to win that competition. Not sure what he wants.
Yeah, so I think with that we come to the end of our Serie A preview. Again, Napoli have their match today, so all the best to them. We move on to La Liga now. On Saturday, we had Granada against Villarreal. Villarreal win the away team here. They won the match 4-1. Then we had Osasuna squaring off against Atletico Madrid. Now, with all the trouble that Madrid were in, and I think again I went with a draw here, but finally Atletico showed some backbone, some resilience. They won this match 3-0 with Saquera, Suarez, and Correa scoring for the visitors. Again, they will be happy, and some sort of positivity must have come back into the squad with this performance. I know Osasuna were not the most difficult opponents, but I think it is about Atletico Madrid now rather than their competitors. A good match for them with their Champions League tie against United looming large. Rahul, your views on both the matches?
Yeah, so let's talk about, I think, the Atletico match. I think I don't again want to read too much into it because it's one match. So yeah, they've actually got a pretty decent record. Simeone actually has a very decent record as well against Osasuna. I think one of his favorite teams to face as a manager. But again, that's the thing. Like, if they don't really build from this victory, then there's no point. Because yeah, some of the results have been like so poor. I think they'll at least be glad that they managed the clean sheet. I think, but then the injury toll is increasing. I think even Matheus Cunha, the striker, I think he got injured after the Levante match and could actually be out for a couple of months. Uh, so 3 goals to the good. I think yeah, Correa scored. I think great goal scored by Suarez. Wow, man, 35 years old now, and still scored with his weaker foot from I think 40 yards out. So yeah, great goal. Uh, Felix opened the scoring, but yeah, not too much to like. Yeah, I think it was a decent result, and it's in a way maybe we're all just so surprised because of the previous performances. But otherwise, if Atletico were performing like Atletico, then this would just be like a routine victory. And what was the other match?
Totally. The other match was Granada against Villarreal.
Yeah, I think we got to talk about Dan Juma, the Dutch player. I mean, he has been so good. He was actually playing in the championship for Bournemouth. Nobody expected him to, come to La Liga or Villarreal and take the league by storm, which is what, in a way, he has done. He has been so good for them, in my opinion. Even in this match, I think scored goals. So you've got to talk about like how good he has been. No one really predicted him, to uh, be this good. Uh, so he scored a hat trick, a couple of penalties. Yeah, I think a great result for Villarreal. And in fact, they are looking like they could actually compete for a position, for a team that wants to finish in the top four. Maybe there's more uh, pressure, on the likes of Barcelona, Atletico, and Real Betis.
Yeah, a couple of fumbles by these three teams and a couple of good results by Villarreal, and they're definitely right in the midst there.
Yeah.
And moving on Saturday, we had Real Madrid against Alaves. The first half was again at best pedestrian, but whatever in the halftime talk Ancelotti gave and whatever happened, it lit Real Madrid, showing signs of their true self in the second half. They actually scored 3 goals with Marco Asensio, Vinicius Junior, and Benzema on the score sheet. So at the end of the day, maybe it's all hunky dory. They have got the win that they wanted, and coupled with Sevilla's draw that we'll discuss now. So their lead is also a little more than what it was. And yeah, again, confidence would be boosted, but yeah, one match at a time. Let's not get overexcited, but again, a step in the right direction. Rahul?
Yeah, like you said, a step in the right direction. I think the front three scored, Vinicius, Benzema, Asensio. So yeah, I think Vinicius scored after like 6 games not scoring. He finally managed to get on the score sheet. Even Benzema, who clearly looked he was not fully fit against PSG, but yeah, now because of that game, at least in this match, he looked like back to his best or towards like getting there. So yeah, hopefully Real Madrid would want this to continue when they play against PSG. Uh, but yeah, I think a great result again, a victory that they needed. Especially we'll talk about how important it is when we talk about a Sevilla result. But I think yeah, mm, Benzema I think provided 2 assists. Asensio again has scored in 3 of his last 4 home matches, home La Liga matches for Real Madrid. So yeah, again a great result for Real Madrid. Anything else that you want to talk about this match?
Nothing in particular, just 3 points gained and well done, Real Madrid. Coming to the Sevilla's match, they drew 1-1 away at Espanyol. Now, Espanyol's previous match was against Barcelona, which was also a draw. So, Mir actually started the scoring for Sevilla. Espanyol responded through Dada, and Jules Koundé was shown a straight red here. So, Sevilla actually hung on in a manner of speaking to a draw here. Um, Again, I'm not sure how much confidence Sevilla has in their own title ambitions and how serious they are, whether they think it is actually possible or not. Because just when they had the opportunity for the last 4 or 5 weeks, they have just not come up with the goods. So maybe they are already resigned to the fact that top four was their practical aim, and maybe they are okay with it because their performances have not been as a team which is chasing the title. So maybe that is what it is, Rahul.
I mean, yeah, again, the difference is 4 points, is again 6 points. And again, Espanyol looked like the better side. I mean, the first got a point at home against Barcelona, now a point against Sevilla. So 2 points in 2 games against two of the big teams in La Liga. Again, like you said, they're just not showing that kind of ambition. Maybe in a way, something that I realize is that they're actually more of a cup team. They do perform better in cup games, cup competitions than they do, in league competition. I think Martial got injured. Rafa Mir opened the scoring, but then again, uh, even after equalizing, I think Espanyol had the better chances. They created more chances than Sevilla. I know that again, Jules Kunde, I think his second red card now for something like this. I remember, I think even in the Barcelona game he was sent off, and now in this match again, just losing his cool for no reason. When especially when your team needed him the most. Uh, so I think a good point for Espanyol, but again, 2 points dropped for no reason in a way for Sevilla.
Yeah, talking about Barcelona, their match was next against Valencia away from home. Barcelona actually raised to a 3-0 lead here, two by Aubameyang and one by De Jong. Soler replied for Valencia, but then Aubameyang added another goal. He actually had a hat trick. And I don't know if we discussed this in previous podcasts, but maybe Aubameyang is a player who can just stay in a club for a couple of years or 3 years, and then he just loses motivation, and everything else is a manifestation of that. So he wants to look for a new challenge because his I know it's just a short period of time, but the way he has started his Barcelona career is just the same way he started his Arsenal career, if you remember, after all the troubles at Dortmund. So maybe that is what it is. But again, great buy by Barcelona, and a striker that is good, will be his worth weighted gold. And yeah, 4-1 crucial win away from home. Well done to them, Rahul. Rahul, you're on
We
mute.
finally saw someone like Usman Dembele start. Yeah, Javi had previously mentioned that now that he's gonna stay, he's gonna utilize him. It's not like he's just gonna keep him, with the reserves or not gonna play him. So I think it's a good decision. Makes sense as well. Like, why would you have such a good player at least when he's fit and then not use that player? So it made sense. Uh, I think Dembele was again really good. We actually, if I'm not wrong, we actually saw these two players play together at Dortmund in that one season, 2016-17. So obviously these two players, they obviously know what it's like to play with each other. They already understand each other, and maybe Javi also had that in his mind, which is why he started with Dembele and Aubameyang together. Again, there has never been like any doubt when it comes to his goal scoring record. Aubameyang, I think he's like one of the few players now. He scored in La Liga, he scored in Premier League, he scored in Bundesliga, and he's also scored in French league. So yeah, I think only Serie A is missing. Maybe once he leaves Bayern Munich, once he leaves Barcelona, he'll go to someone in Serie A to complete the set. Uh, Again, like I think 3-1 or 4-1 is I think great result for them. Uh, Actually, once they went like 3-0 up, Valencia actually scored a couple of goals. It looked like that they would reduce the deficit, but then both of those goals were ruled out by VAR. But then, as soon as the second half started, Carlos Soler opened the scoring for Valencia. But again, it was just a consolation because uh, Barcelona scored a fourth, and again, goal, which was such a great goal from distance, scored by the 19-year-old Pedri. I think even Xavi came out and was like, he's like so good, and he is the best player in his position. He's like, he's the best player in his position for someone who's just 19 years old. So already, huge shout out, already like so much trust and faith put in the youngster by Xavi. He, I think the only thing left for him to say was that he's as good as him or Iniesta. I'm glad he didn't say that to put so much pressure on the youngster. But yeah, other than that, we all know like how good he is, what a signing he has been, for Barcelona. So yeah, I think they've got this great crop of youngsters coming through. Uh, I think yeah, as much as I hate to say it, but I think Barcelona are going to be all right. All right.
Yeah, and we definitely hate to say that. Not mincing our words there. Moving on to a team that is competing with Barcelona for the top four spot, Real Betis. They won their home match against Mallorca. Lopera and the Silva scoring for Betis. The Silva actually scored a penalty, and Muriqi scored for Mallorca. With Atletico and Barcelona winning their match, it became important for Betis to respond because, again, something that we have discussed. If it becomes a straight shootout between these three teams, and every team plays, as per their potential, the likelihood of Betis falling out is like the maximum. So they have to keep responding and show that there is a fight left in them. Again, managed by the Chilean
Pellegrini.
Pellegrini. Yeah. So they have to show fight and they have to show resolve because obviously they have worked hard and worked well to come this far. Still third in the La Liga table. So now it's all about backing up all the good performance that they have done till now. There are, I think, 13 matches to go. Yeah, 13 for Betis and Madrid, one more for Barcelona. So if you see that 1/3 of the season is still yet to be played, so a lot of football is still there, and yeah, they just have to back themselves and do well. Rahul?
Yeah, because when you take a look, it's not like it's just between three teams. Because when you take a look at the chasing pack, I think even just behind someone like Atletico, there's Villarreal, even someone like Real Sociedad or even Athletic Bilbao. I think they're all teams who mathematically, can still look for a place in the top four. Like as soon as any one of these three or four teams has a minor blip, then yeah, it's like the margins are so fine right now that nobody can afford to drop points at this point in time. It's not even about winning it, but then just finishing in the top four is like so difficult right now.
Yeah, talking about Sociedad and Bilbao, they actually faced off against each other, and Bilbao scoring four late goals, four. So they came out 4-0 victors. Um, so Rahul, anything you'd like to say here? I think this is the Basque derby. Yeah.
Yeah, this is Basque Derby. Obviously, there's no love lost between these two sides. So obviously, it's like they give their all. Like we already had one spectacular derby this week between Juventus and Torino, and now Bilbao and Sociedad. I think so. Yeah, I think Iker Muniain scored from I think missed from the spot, but then he did manage to get a goal later on, and even someone like Inaki Williams. Like these players, they are just associated with the club. They've spent almost all of their time at these clubs, so it actually means something to them as well when they play for. It's not just about money in a way, or it's like because it's their hometown club and all these stuff. So these things also matter. It's not just about winning. It's actually a matter of pride as well. So it was great to see that match. But yeah, maybe Sociedad would be like they should have done better because when you take a look at the league position, there's not a lot of difference between the two sides. So yeah, on when you take into consideration that this was just a one-sided match, I'm pretty sure the visitors would not be happy.
Yeah, Sociedad are actually still at 7th and Bilbao at 8th. So yeah, of course, it was supposed to be a closely contested match, and for large parts of the match it was. But then it's just one of those things, one goal goes in and then the whole thing changes. So it's just that 4 went in. So great win for Bilbao. I think with that we come to the end of our second part of the review of this season. Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for your time. We'll be back with our preview episode pretty soon. Take care. Bye bye.
And if you like our content, then don't forget to support us, guys.